We need to get home.
I got a job for you. Keep on the dodge and sidle up the lob while they pass them hornheads.
What?
A creature protected you. What is his name?
The idea behind the Good Dinosaur begins with a fascinating alternate history question. What if the asteroid that wiped out the dinosaurs never struck Earth? Instead of extinction, imagine a world where dinosaurs continue to evolve, adapt, and shape the planet alongside other forms of life. In this reimagined timeline, dinosaurs did not vanish into fossils and museum displays. They grew into communities, learned to farm, built families, and formed societies in landscapes that are both breathtakingly beautiful and dangerously wild. Within this world lives a young Apatosaurus named Arlo, a dinosaur who begins his life surrounded by towering mountains, endless plains, and the expectations of a hard-working family trying to survive in a rugged frontier. Arlo is born into a family that works the land. His parents run a farm carved into a valley where the terrain is rough and the seasons are unforgiving. The environment around them feels almost like a prehistoric version of the American frontier, where survival depends on resilience, teamwork, and courage. Arlo grows up alongside his siblings, each of them expected to contribute to the family's survival. In this world, dinosaurs aren't simply wandering creatures. They're farmers, builders, and caretakers of the land. Their daily lives revolve around planting crops, protecting their harvests from pests, and facing the unpredictable forces of nature. From the moment Arlo hatches, it becomes clear that he's different from his siblings. While his brother and sister appear confident and capable, Arlo is timid, hesitant, and easily frightened by the many dangers surrounding him. The world beyond the farm feels enormous and intimidating. Towering cliffs loom in the distance, rivers roar with unstoppable force, and the forests seem filled with unseen threats. Fear defines Arlo's early life, shaping the way he reacts to challenges and the way he sees himself compared to his family. Arlo's father believes that every member of the family has a purpose, and he encourages his children to find the courage to leave their mark on the farm. The farm's grain silo stands as a symbol of that purpose. Whenever one of the children proves they can overcome a challenge and contribute meaningfully, they're invited to place their footprint mark on the silo. Those marks represent bravery, growth, and the moment a young dinosaur begins to believe in themselves. For Arlo, however, reaching that moment feels nearly impossible. Every task that seems easy for his siblings becomes overwhelming for him. His fears aren't just small worries, they're constant companions that shape every decision he makes. Even the simplest sounds in the night can make him freeze with anxiety. Yet Arlo's father sees something in him that Arlo himself cannot yet recognize. Instead of dismissing his fears, he tries to guide him through them, believing that courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. One of the biggest challenges Arlo must confront involves protecting the farm's food supply from a strange and persistent pest. In this world, humans exist in a very different role than they do in our own history. They're not the dominant species. Instead, they behave more like wild animals, scavenging and surviving wherever they can. One of these small humans keeps sneaking into the farm's storage area, stealing food and leaving chaos behind. Arlo is tasked with catching the thief and proving he can handle responsibility. When Arlo finally traps the human, he finds himself face to face with a creature unlike anything he expected. The human is small, wild, and surprisingly clever. Instead of feeling triumphant, Arlo hesitates. His fear and uncertainty overwhelm him, and he cannot bring himself to finish the task his father gave him. This hesitation becomes a turning point that sets the entire journey into motion. Shortly after this moment, tragedy strikes in a way that changes Arlo's life forever. A violent storm sweeps through the valley, unleashing rain and flooding that transformed the once familiar landscape into a chaotic and dangerous place. In the middle of the chaos, Arlo is swept away by the raging river, separated from his home, his family, and everything he has ever known. The farm disappears behind him as the current carries him deep into a vast and untamed wilderness. This is where the true journey begins. Arlo awakens far from home, injured, frightened, and completely alone in a world that suddenly feels even bigger than before. The mountains seem taller, the forests darker, and the sky wider than anything he has ever experienced. For the first time in his life, Arlo must survive without the protection of his family. It is during this lonely moment that he encounters the same human he once tried to capture. The small creature, who will later be known as Spot, is still roaming the wilderness with a wild, animal-like energy. At first, Arlo sees him as nothing more than a nuisance or a reminder of his earlier failure. But circumstances force the two unlikely companions together. Spot is resourceful, fearless, and surprisingly loyal. He moves through the wilderness with instinctive confidence, climbing rocks, hunting small prey, and navigating the terrain in ways Arlo never could on his own. Though they cannot communicate through spoken language, their actions slowly build a bond between them. What begins as a reluctant partnership gradually evolves into a genuine friendship. As Arlo and Spot travel through the wild landscape in search of the way back home, they encounter a series of strange, beautiful, and often dangerous environments. Towering mountains dominate the horizon, rivers cut through valleys with unstoppable force, and thick forests hide creatures both friendly and hostile. The journey becomes more than just a physical trek across the land. It becomes an emotional and personal transformation for Arlo. Along the way, they meet other dinosaurs who reflect different ways of surviving in this prehistoric world. Some are wise wanderers who offer guidance, while others are hardened survivors who live by strength and toughness alone. Each encounter teaches Arlo something new about courage, fear, and the nature of survival. One memorable group they meet consists of rugged dinosaurs who herd longhorn-like creatures across the plains, almost like cowboys of the prehistoric world. These characters embody the spirits of frontier life, living by a code of bravery, loyalty, and determination. Their lifestyle reflects the idea that even in a harsh world, communities can form through shared purpose and trust. Through these encounters, Arlo slowly begins to change. The dinosaur who once trembled at every shadow starts learning to face danger head-on. Fear does not disappear, but it becomes something he understands rather than something that controls him. Spot plays a crucial role in this transformation, constantly demonstrating resilience and courage even in the face of overwhelming odds. The bond between Arlo and Spot grows deeper as they share moments of joy, struggle, and vulnerability. They learn to hunt together, find shelter during storms, and protect one another from predators. Without words, they communicate through gestures, expressions, and trust. Their friendship becomes the emotional core of the story. One particularly touching moment comes when they share memories of their families. Through simple actions and drawings in the dirt, they reveal that both of them have experienced loss. This shared understanding creates a powerful connection between them. They are no longer just travel companions. They are two lonely souls helping each other move forward. The wilderness itself becomes almost like a character in the story. The landscapes are vast and stunning, ranging from golden plains to towering mountain ranges and dense forests bathed in shifting light. At times, the environment feels peaceful and awe-inspiring, but at other moments, it turns hostile, reminding Arlo that survival in this world requires strength and adaptability. Storms, predators, and treacherous terrain constantly challenge the pair as they continue their journey. Arlo must make decisions he never imagined facing before. Should he run from danger or stand his ground? Should he rely on others or trust his own instincts? Each challenge pushes him closer to understanding who he really is. As the journey progresses, Arlo begins to remember the lessons his father tried to teach him about fear. Instead of seeing fear as weakness, he starts seeing it as a signal that something important is happening. Courage, he realizes, is not about being fearless. It is about choosing to move forward even when fear is present. This realization marks the emotional turning point in Arlo's character arc. The timid young dinosaur who once struggled to complete simple tasks slowly grows into someone capable of protecting his friend and navigating the wilderness with confidence. Eventually, the journey brings Arlo closer to the familiar landscapes surrounding his home valley. The mountains and rivers begin to resemble the places he remembers from his childhood. For the first time since being swept away, the idea of returning home feels possible. But with that possibility comes a difficult realization. Spot has also changed during their journey. While Arlo's destination is his family farm, Spot's future is uncertain. Their friendship has become so strong that the idea of separating feels heartbreaking for both of them. In the end, Arlo must make one final decision that reflects everything he's learned. He must choose between holding on to his friend or helping Spot find the place where he truly belongs. It is a quiet, emotional moment that captures the essence of Arlo's growth. The frightened dinosaur who once avoided responsibility now understands that doing the right thing sometimes means letting go. When Arlo finally returns to his family's farm, he is no longer the same dinosaur who left it. The valley looks just as beautiful as it did before, but Arlo now sees it with new eyes. He has faced storms, crossed mountains, and discovered strengths within himself that he never believed existed. The farm still stands as a symbol of family, resilience, and hard work. When Arlo places his footprint mark alongside those of his siblings, it represents more than simply completing a task. It represents the long and difficult journey he took to overcome fear and discover his true potential. At its heart, the story is not just about dinosaurs in an alternate history world. It is about growing up, confronting fear, and learning that courage often emerges from the most unlikely places. Arlo's journey reminds us that bravery is not reserved for the strongest or most confident individuals. Sometimes it belongs to those who feel afraid but choose to keep going anyway. The friendship between Arlo and Spot also highlights a powerful theme about connection. Two creatures from completely different species and backgrounds find understanding in each other during their most vulnerable moments. Their bond proves that compassion and loyalty can transcend differences. Visually and emotionally, the world of the film feels like a mixture of epic adventure and quiet personal storytelling. The landscapes evoke the grandeur of nature, reminding viewers how small individuals can feel in the face of enormous environments. Yet within that vastness, small acts of kindness and courage carry immense meaning. By the time the journey ends, Arlo's transformation feels deeply earned. The timid dinosaur who once doubted himself has become someone capable of facing the unknown. His fears did not disappear, but they no longer define him. Instead, they became the stepping stones that helped him grow. The story ultimately celebrates resilience, friendship, and the idea that every individual has the potential to become stronger than they ever imagined. In a world where dinosaurs roam free and the wilderness stretches endlessly across the horizon, the most powerful transformation happens within one young dinosaur's heart. And that is what makes the adventure so memorable. Beneath the prehistoric setting, the towering mountains, and the thrilling journey across a dangerous landscape lies a deeply human story about courage, loss, growth, and the power of companionship. Arlo's journey across that wild world becomes a reflection of the journey everyone must take at some point in life. the journey from fear toward self-belief, from uncertainty toward courage, and from isolation toward connection.